All right. I want to talk about something that I have dubbed the Great Texas Exodus. And what that is the consequence of the coronavirus and its impacts here in 2020. Effectively, New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco have lost their competitive advantages that have allowed them to amass so much wealth. Generally, the reason why someone moves to California or New York is they're trying to go to one of these meccas. They're places where it is established that that is where you hone your craft, for Silicon Valley, it's tech. For Los Angeles, it's Hollywood, effectively. And then for New York, it's finance. It's like if you want to be the best financier, you go to New York. If you want to be, if you want to be famous, you go to Los Angeles. And then if you want to make tech and eventually help the robots overthrow humanity, you go to San Francisco. And so, what the coronavirus has done is it has locked down these areas, and the network effects that they have experienced. Generally, the reason why it's valuable to live in San Francisco is because there's other people and you interact with other people much more rapidly, and those network effects make these cities so much more valuable. But they've lost that. They've lost their desirability. Now people don't want to be in large population centers. And furthermore, especially in California's case, their lockdowns have been severe enough that it is currently damaging their economy. And there's no denying that. And so, what I think is going to happen is all the wealthy individuals in these areas are going to realize that they're not benefiting from any of the previous things that they benefited from in these cities. These cities are no longer desirable because they're not Hollywood anymore. There's no more film. There's no more film sets. There's no more. All the finance companies will realize that they don't have to pay for these super ridiculous expensive buildings in Manhattan. And so what we will see is these industries that are not location dependent, like tech, like filmmaking, like finance. None of these things have to be done in a specific location. They will go to a place that has more competitive tax structures. And Texas is significantly more competitive tax-wise, while also still being a very desirable place to live. And that's because Texas has historically seen a lot of wealth, and that wealth primarily came from oil, but it's allowed them to build some pretty significant cities. And Austin, I believe, will probably be the next big concentration of the wealth between Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, because all these wealthy people will want a place in the United States that's still desirable to live in, but that has significantly more competitive tax structures. We're actually already seeing some large tech companies moving into Texas. Tesla specifically courted Texas, so to speak, by proposing their new gigafactory that's going to make the Cybertruck. I mean, that's like the perfect thing to break into Texas with, is a giant electric truck that looks like the Halo 1 Warthog. It's ingenious. It's like, it's so Texas. It's beautiful. And so it's very possible that Texas could actually become the next big tech hub as this concentration of wealth happens. And they have a very strong manufacturing base already, So it's possible that they could be one of the main manufacturing hubs as well for like electric and green technology, like solar panels, battery cells, big ass electric pickup trucks, effectively. So, despite the fact that Los Angeles, San Francisco, all these historically blue and very populated places are going to see an incredible degradation of wealth. It's it does not look good for them, admittedly. There's no way to spin that one. It's not going to be good. Texas is where all the next big opportunities are going to be, I believe. And that's why there is going to be a mass exodus of incredibly wealthy and incredibly ambitious people going to Texas. And I am going to be one of them.